What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to another Pay-Per-Viewpoint edition of the Smark Moment Smack Talk podcast. I'm Tony Mango, joined as always by Robert E. Felice.
Hey. How's everybody doing?
We are here.
Sure are.
I don't know if anybody wants us to answer that question. How are you, Rob?
I don't know if anybody wants to answer that question.
It is 11:40 at night. NXT is over with. We did our Money in the Bank preview, so we're following this up with the NXT HEATWAVE Pay-Per-Viewpoint predictions. You know the score by now. If you don't, it's pretty simple. We break down the card, talk about the matches that are happening, talk about our predictions, and anything else we want to talk about, and we invite you to do the same, so drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to make sure that we are still around in a week, or even a day, it's going to be one of those editions, isn't it? Then the best way to do it is to help us out on the monetary side of things. Keep mentioning this, but it sometimes feels like it's falling on deaf ears. Make sure that you hit up the Patreon, YouTube channel membership, toss a little spare change our way through the thanks button. If you are joining us for the live post shows, as long as they are still here, who knows how long that's going to stop. We've got the super chats and stuff too, but there are entirely free methods for you to help us out. Everybody should be subscribed to this channel. If you've been following for a while, you should hit that like button on this video to help us kind of combat the stupid YouTube algorithm that definitely does not appreciate my stuff, because I've gone and done searches for things before and seen things that have been posted after my stuff that goes up and mine doesn't. So I'm fighting an uphill battle here. If you want to throw a rope to help lift us up, you know what to do. If you want to throw a rock, well, join the club. One of these days you're going to hear... I'm not that type of person. Redbubble and TeePublic is where you can pick up merchandise, though, if you want to be that type of person and help us out by earning $1 for the fucking $20 that they end up. This is attempt number 2, and I already started off saying the F word in the first minute or so again. Screw it. It's not like we're going to make any money off of this anyway. So let's Redbubble and TeePublic for the merchandise shop. Screw those companies anyway, but if you do want to pick up merchandise, that's where you can find it. And Discord is where you can hang out during the off times when we're not having people leave comments below and stuff like that. You can always just chat it up there. Let's get into it.
It's NXT TakeOver. Wow, no, it's not.
No, it's definitely not. NXT TakeOver Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
It did. It's NXT HEATWAVE in Toronto. And we usually start off by asking what matches would you add to the card. We're not doing that because they added a match to the card. And I do believe it's the Countdown show.
Yeah, it's Countdown to NXT HEATWAVE, which is at, I believe, 6 p.m. on Sunday, and then the pay-per-view itself technically starts at 7, even though, because nothing makes sense in this world these days anymore, it's just like pre-shows at this point are just filled with, like, it's either going to be a bunch of nonsense or it's going to be nonsense and a match, but we don't have time on the card for the matches themselves. Cats and dogs, you know how it works. But we are going to have a tag team match. It's funny that there are certain feuds that are going on that don't have a representation on this card, yet they decided to make sure that there was enough time to be able to put Arianna Grace and Karmen Petrovic against Jacy, Jayne, and Jazmyn Nix. This came about...
They're doing this thing, and this is I'm going to call it a Triple H era thing, because this is a real, like, well, the show's in Puerto Rico... Zelina Vega needs to be on the card, and that's the story. She needs to be on the card. Well, the show's in Scotland, so Isla Dawn and Alba Fire need to be on the card. And so we literally get a promo from Arianna Grace that says, Soul Ruca snatched my soul with the Soul Snatcher. That's the thing she said. Because she couldn't be on Toronto, on HEATWAVE. Almost called TakeOver again. On HEATWAVE. Because she's from Toronto and she's sad. And she was talking to Karmen Petrovic, who was also like, man, I'm from Toronto too. So now they're going to fight Jacy, Jayne, and Jazmyn Nix. Yay.
And it's all because why not? The whole Gigi Dolan thing and Arianna Grace, that just went nowhere. Partially, I guess, because Gigi Dolan's injured probably torn ACL because that's what like 9 out of 10 people
Well, I
have.
don't know if it's ACL, but it's knee injury.
Something's up with these rings or something. I don't know what's happening, but the weight training or something that they do once is, happenstance, twice is coincidence, 3 times is enemy action. Do you remember the movie? I've mentioned this a bunch of times.
I don't, but I feel like I would. I'm gonna know when you say it.
Goldfinger.
Shit.
A Review to a Kill. Check out that very fun franchise that we broke down over the James Bond series on Bad Boys Anonymous. But this is exactly the type of match that, like, sure, whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't really care. The 4 people are to varying degrees good. I like them enough, but I don't really care. And I think that that's what, like, across the board, unless you're one of these people that's like a total, like, I'm a Jazmyn Nick stan or something like that. Are you really going to go nuts over this? Probably not. It's a match. I'd rather Arianna Grace and Karmen Petrovic win just because that would be the most interesting outcome instead of Jacy and Jazmyn. Flip a coin.
Yeah. Arianna Grace should win. She's great. She's a fun character. I really have nothing for this except for the fact that they mentioned, hey, is it going to be Natty? And it wasn't Natty. And they seem to be teasing that maybe Natty's leaving. Maybe she is. Who the hell knows?
Kind of crazy.
Would be insane, but who knows anymore?
I mean, the fact that they mentioned Natty is interesting enough because they didn't need to.
Well, they did it because Karmen had been paired with Natty.
Yeah, but I mean, they didn't need to specifically mention her. Sorry, but I'm eating a Trader Joe's crispy peanut butter filled milk chocolate peanuts. That's the long fucking name for that thing. They're really good. You should sponsor us. Yeah, they're basically like a little Reese's peanut butter cups or whatever. Sponsor us, Trader Joe's. I'll give you a plug. That sounded vaguely sexual. They didn't need to mention Natty. They could have just said, like, boo-hoo, you don't have any friends. And then later on, it's like, well, your friend said whatever. Oh, who? Arianna Grace. Yeah, they could have done that. They've done that before where it's been, like, tongue-in-cheek. But we're getting that. It's not the only tag team match that's on the card, because there's also going to be an NXT Tag Team Championship match. The Supersonic duo that cannot seem to get on the same page anymore. Axiom and Nathan Frazer up against Chase University's Duke Hudson and Andre Chase, who are not going to have Ridge Holland ringside, or at least he's not supposed to be ringside, because they finally decided that he cheated and that Duke Hudson couldn't, hold that in anymore. He wanted to confess that they had cheated to win that title shot opportunity. And then they were like, Reggie, how could you do this? And he's all like, oh, I'm sorry, guys.
I tweeted out that the acting on these segments feels like it's produced by Naughty America. I stand by it.
What's how's the thing start?
Well, what do you mean? Like how, just the overall videos?
Yeah. What's the beginning of them? Yeah, like everybody's got like the Pornhub's got its own like that tune.
Yeah. Naughty America's just the girl going Naughty America. She just said something else, but I know that's the intro that's in there. We're talking about porn because NXT
Chase University.
Yeah, exactly. Chase University. Nobody does it better.
There you go. Oh, now that's just making me think nobody does it better. Going back to the Bond theme. So the big thing with Axiom and Nathan Frazer. Wow. Okay. Jesus Christ. Axiom and Nathan Frazer. Tell us if you like these episodes, by the way, when we reach the point where it's 11 something at night and we're not even tired, but we just don't want to have our brains be used anymore. I'm still thinking about what to do for a Darkcast, by the way. The big story, to go back to this, of Nathan Frazer and Axiom is that Nathan Frazer keeps being much more focused on everything except for the tag team titles, which then makes me go, okay, well, isn't it a little bit too obvious if they just lose those belts? But then again, shouldn't they just lose those fucking belts? I want that to happen. I'd rather Chase U end up being the tag team champions. Axiom and Nathan Frazer are not doing anything that I find super entertaining. They're fine to flip around in the ring and they're talented guys on their own run, but the team itself I couldn't care less about. At least Chase University, they've got some interesting segments here and there.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be honest, I feel like Chase U is kind of played out. I like Axiom and Frazer, but they're clearly moving on from this team and they're splitting them up. So I'm gonna go Chase U. But also, like, the fact that Rich isn't there makes me feel like something's gonna go wrong because he should have been there. And I'll probably go
like Riley
Axiom and Frazer.
Osborne's gonna accidentally cheat for them or something.
Yeah, like or Osborne was gonna cost them because Osborne, for some reason, he's like angry that he's not getting the love that Rich Holland was getting, even though he was for quite a while. So, there's that.
Offshoot question. Are Riley Osborne and Thea Hale just supposed to be 100% just friends again?
Yeah, but they put the kibosh on that storyline rather quickly because it was just sort of like, yeah, we don't want to do this story, so Osborne will just say he's glad Thea's back to normal, and Thea will just say, yeah, we could be friends, because that's what all the kids are after.
That's what all the kids are after.
Okay, like, you're telling me that they do this horrible thing with Thea Hale where she's like going through puberty, and it's stupid because like Thea Hale's a grown woman.
Was she like 20?
Yeah, the whole gimmick of hers is like, yeah, well, oh my god, I have my first crush on Riley Osborne. It's like, okay,
yeah, what have you been doing for the past like 17 years?
Like, it's very strange, but my guess is maybe they didn't want to do it because Riley's like legitimately spoken for by Blair Davenport. But
that's who he's dating.
They're engaged actually.
Oh damn! Congrats on those. When the hell did that happen?
That happened around the same time that Gigi got engaged to Zachary Wentz.
It's probably a hot tag that we already did, and I forgot about it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. You got a lot going on.
Too much.
My point is, Chase U is kind of a gimmick that's played out. Axiom and Frazer are fun. While I would argue that almost everything else in NXT has reached a certain level of, I can't say it's better than Black and Gold, but it's peaking in its own way. The tag team division is super stale, and it's super lame.
What do you mean? You're not into Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson being like, hey, we want like our 5th or 6th match against OTM?
Have they fought them at all? You're saying that, but have they had a ring the bell ref match?
To be fair, who fucking cares?
Well, no, because I know they beat the crap out of each other, backstage because it's an extension of the girls feuding, which
they've had
and Jada Parker.
3 matches together, 4,
something
like that. They've had a few. Jada and Michin. Cage match, Michin. Let's see what they had. Not Taka Michinoku. Okay, let's see. Jada Parker.
Taka Michinoku.
Michinoku. Jada Parker. Okay, wait. Jada Parker teamed up with Michin and Sol Ruca.
Yeah.
Earlier this year. I forgot about that.
That was like 4 weeks ago.
Okay. 4 weeks ago is way more than 4 weeks in my brain space right now. So, okay, but my idea that they've had like 4 matches or so is that they had their match on June 11th. They had their 6-way ladder match, and then they had this match. So they've had 3. I'm close. They had 4 matches together if you count that one of them is that they were in the same team. As far as the rest of OTM, I don't know. But yeah, stale.
I'm Googling it real quick. Because, well, not Googling, I'm cage matching.
They probably have had like 1 match.
And as
feels like it's going on forever.
They've had a grand total of 0 matches.
Man, they really drag these things out, don't they?
Yep. They've had a grand total of 0 matches, which is what I was basically expecting. Yeah, like I think that match should arguably be here, but they're gonna do it on July 9th. And for the record, I think OTM will probably win because Good Brothers are just in straight putover mode.
Good Brothers are not good wrestlers according to their win-loss records. They might be good brothers, but they're
that's a little mean, but okay.
It's justified. They're like they've been booked as like worthless for how long now? How many years?
It's so funny because outside of this company, they're always booked near the top of even New Japan. They were always like champions. Even talking like the most recent run they had. It's just this company.
They're like, we really want you to be a part of this and not do much. Well,
and
it's a weird.
Who wouldn't take that Odyssey Jones deal?
Yeah, right. I mean, Odyssey Jones is doing pretty well for himself, probably.
By the way, I don't know if I didn't mention this with you. I mentioned it on another podcast today. During the commercial for the WrestleMania documentary, Triple H was writing down something about Cedric and Odyssey Jones, and I just popped because I'm like, all right, they know he's there.
He was like writing down like booking a match between them or something?
Yeah, probably booking like a dark match between them for a SmackDown taping. That's what he's writing. He's writing on the SmackDown format. But it's just funny that like, oh, cool, Odyssey Jones.
So I feel like it's weird that Axiom and Frazer are going up against Jacy here, but this whole card feels weird to me. And there's a lot of like babyface or heel type setups. And one of them is Kelani Jordan defending the Women's North American Championship against Ruca. I'm still surprised that they're going in this direction because to me it's sort of neuters both of them because I don't think that either of them is going to get as big of a reaction as the other one, and then vice versa. So it's like it's going to split the difference between who people are supporting. Shouldn't be something to happen already with Kelani.
Could be one of the best matches you could possibly do in this particular division, however.
You think they're going for just straight up like what would be the best in-ring match?
Yeah, I could see one of them turning. You know, because I think either one could benefit from character growth of a heel turn. But yeah, I just think it's a good match to do on a card that you basically built in 2 weeks. And that's another thing that's throwing this particular show off. NXT doesn't do pay-per-views back-to-back like that. And they've had to put together a card very quickly.
Some of it makes sense. Some of it really doesn't. So we'll get into like the Roxanne match that I don't think is really the match that should be happening. But as far as Kelani and Ruca goes, I had thought that Ruca was going to be somebody that they positioned for like the NXT Women's Championship instead of the Women's North American Championship. But now that they are doing this instead, it's kind of making me wonder if they're going to have a title change. But I'm still leaning towards Kelani Jordan retaining.
I'm going to go with Kelani because she just won the belt. And I can see Ruca being the kind of like, maybe I don't need to be laid back because now I'm upset. You know, like I can see that sort of thing. Between the two, I think Ruca is a more genuine heel.
If one of them turns, you think it's going to be Ruca?
Yeah, because Kelani is just so likable. You know, like she just seems like, I'm going to go back to the CW characteristics, but she seems like that character that would like, you know, class president, a head cheerleader. She's a babyface. She's like a good person. That's the character I get from her.
What's her catchphrase? It's like nobody does it better than Lonnie or something.
No, that's James Bond. If James Bond's name was Lonnie, nobody does it like Lonnie.
Like Lonnie. Nobody does it like Lonnie. There you go.
Lonnie, you're the best.
I mean, that could turn into a heel catchphrase. But yeah, if one of them turns, it's probably Ruca. And then I'm really confused about where their direction is, because I would think that she would be the top babyface, so that'd be kind of strange, but
It could also just be a handshake deal.
Could be. And maybe that's their game plan, is just put in a match, they do stuff, they wrestle, shake hands at the end, move on to the next segment. So we're both going Kelani retaining, though, right?
Yes.
Now, I just mentioned it, so I'll bring it up. Roxanne Perez defending the NXT Women's Championship against Lola Vice.
Okay.
They have been stuck with these two for so long, and they keep having matches together, and then they keep just not doing, like, whatever the finish is that they want to do. They just wait another couple weeks or 2 months or something, and then they come back to it again. And I'll tell you one thing, I have not been the biggest fan of any other interactions, but after tonight's promo in particular, I hope that this is absolutely the final part of this. I'm not at all interested in this feud. I don't think that it's the right decision to go with this. I think that Lola Vice is not working as a heelish babyface in this by default.
Did you watch the show tonight?
Yeah, I thought this was terrible, this segment that they had.
Okay, so I cage matched again, and with a total of 3 since October 28th, 2022, with a total of 3 battle royals. I'm sorry, 4 battle royals. These women have been in the ring together 12 times.
Crazy.
One-on-one, they've only had 2 matches, and it's Roxanne wins both times. Look, I'm not going to disparage. I'm sure Lola Vice was speaking from the heart.
Right, like, you know.
Discussing her mother being sick. It's super funny. I'm sorry. The line...
You heard it here, folks. It's super funny what you know. He's not talking.
I was a fighter from before I was born. Took me out. Right? Then she starts crying, and you're like, all right, I'm back on board. All right, she's telling a heart-wrenching story. Then she shakes her ass while she's crying. Right. And I'm back to, okay, we're in pure, like, hyperbole telenovela nonsense. Like, I'm sure it's a legit story. I'm sure she's had to do some sacrifices. For me, I was more into Lola Vice as a badass who just knocked out Shayna fucking Baszler. Why couldn't she just do that?
I have no clue. I don't know what they're thinking with this whole setup.
Well, because the truth is, they didn't want Roxanne to be a heel. Roxanne's in Cora's spot. I mean, I think Fightful might have reported, well, Roxanne might have turned anyway to team with Cora. But that's still a different job than being the top heel. And she's getting a little better at it, but she's not super duper cut out for it.
No, she's great in the ring in a lot of ways, but man, Roxanne struggles with her promos, and she struggles way more with heel promos than babyface ones, to a point where they gotta stop having these segments. It's not doing her any good. And then with Lola's not good either when it comes to that. So that's just the two of them talking.
But Lola's fine. Lola works as a chauvinistic, that's probably not the word I'm looking for, as a showboating, like, heel who's like, I'm hot, you're not, nah, 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 nah. I'm gonna shake my ass now. Her crying randomly, because again, 2-week build. Week 1 is all the women are here. Right? Mm-hmm. Week 2 is
tagging them.
Tagging, and Roxanne knocked her out. And now she's crying in the ring. Why? Like, don't get me wrong, this match might be fun. But I don't like the build.
Also, what happened to this TNA thing? Is it just over already?
No.
Because they haven't been doing anything with anybody the past couple weeks.
Earmuffs for the 2 of you that watch TNA and don't want spoilers. at the TNA tapings this past weekend, Dempsey, Bourne, and Tavion were there. Izzy Dame fought Jordan Grace for the Knockouts title, and Dempsey did like a whole bunch of matches.
So it's just, they're not going to bother with putting them on NXT television. They're going to end up, instead of taking all these people that could have been great challengers for Roxanne, it could have been a lot of fun.
I think we're going to get more of it. I just don't think they wanted to zoom right into all the possibilities. I think we're going to get a Worlds Collide show at some point.
Still hoping that happens, but at least for now, it's just
because I think Wesley's going to end up doing something with the Rascals. I can see that happening. I think we are going to get more of the back and forth, but I think this week it was specifically, let's get them on TNA. Because remember, I know why you're saying what you're saying, because like for you, every day has felt like 5 years lately.
Yeah, I mean, it really has.
But it's only been 3 weeks. And they just had Joe Hendry and Frankie Kazarian on 2 weeks ago.
Just merge. That's my answer. Just merge and solve some other problems going on for me, and then I'll relax more. I just don't care about this Roxanne Perez and Lola Vice thing. And to be perfectly honest, on top of like the feud element of it that I think isn't good, I don't think that the match is going to be good either.
I think the match will be good. I hope I'm not proven wrong, but I can see this being a thing where we're talking on Saturday or on Sunday night. So you thought this match was going to be good, huh?
I hope I'm wrong. I always hope I'm wrong when I think that something's not going to be all that great. But
yeah, I think this should be good. I just don't. Right now, for me, there's no hook. There's no like. I think Roxanne might lose.
He's in AEW though.
And it's true, and then they're not crossing over. No, I don't think Roxanne's losing.
No, I don't think so. I mean, there is a chance that she loses because if they keep going back around to this as many times as they have, maybe there's something there. Maybe they were like, well, we wanted to, I mean, we talked about the Shawn Michaels rule basically at this point quite a while, where it's like he has shown in the past that there are instances where people will have like multiple title matches and then they'll come around to, okay, well, now you'll win the title. And it's like, I mean, they tell me that they couldn't have won the last like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matches.
If Roxanne loses, I want her to go right up to the main roster.
She should at that point.
There's nothing else for this woman to do.
But then again, there's also been people that have had that whole Shawn Michaels rule thing, and then they just didn't win the title. Like, look at Piper Niven. She had like 3 matches, I think, with Alba Fire, and it was always like, okay, well, she'll win. Oh, well, she didn't win the last one, but she's going to win this one. Oh, well, she has to win this one. And I was like, oh, never mind. She's going to be paired up with Eva Marie. Okay. It's a stupid kind of crap like that. But the possibility of Lola Vice winning is certainly there. I just think that it's probably that they don't have anybody else in mind that they really want to have up against Perez. They like Lola enough. They want to give her a spot, but that she's not going to win.
Tony, you're married to a beautiful Brazilian woman.
Yes, I am.
Do you ever start dancing when she's crying? Just like I have tears in my eyes. Dance.
Not when she's crying.
That's funny. Like, I'm sorry. Okay, look, I know it was emotional, but it just read funny.
I mean, she is the type that she just goes like, I feel like dancing. So maybe a little advice right then was just like, this doesn't go with it, but I feel like dancing, That'll be the highlight for a lot of people is Lola Vice coming out and shaking her hips and stuff. But
yeah, I mean, like, she's great at that. I told you, like, that's her idol pose, and it's fantastic.
Wasn't that no, that was an idol pose. That was Idle Hands. I was gonna say, wasn't that a movie with Jessica Alba? Never saw it. Always looked like it was pretty bad. Insert transition. Oba Femi going up against Wesley.
We're all feminists here. Jessica Alba, Oba Femi.
Did I say, I don't know if I mentioned this on the air or not, the song that pops in my head with Obafemi?
You might. I don't know if you said it on the air.
For some reason, the "Oh What a Night" song pops in my head, and I very frequently think, Obafemi, what a night. I have no idea why. It makes no sense whatsoever, but
Oh, Bafemi.
yeah.
He's from Nigeria. He's pretty big. Others are not, including Wesley. He's gonna
But
squash him. What a night.
oh, it's a scenario where Wesley has this one chance to win the North American Championship, and if he doesn't, then he has no longer any future title opportunities as long as Obafemi is champion. And we have the same exact setup going on with the Damian Priest and Seth Rollins match for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. So it's something that they're actually quite a bit enjoying right now, which is kind of interesting that they just wanted to have two of those this weekend. But to me, Wesley is exactly the type of guy that could win this in a completely different scenario, and he's not beating Obafemi here. He's just not the time.
Correct. That is correct.
If they would have wanted to do that, it probably would have made more sense for him to win that triple threat. He would have pinned Joe Coffey.
Correct.
They didn't bother to do it. So I can only assume, hey, look, it sucks for Wesley, but he comes up short. And then we get maybe the Rascals involved in something with the tag titles, like you were just mentioning.
I mean, not only does he could go fight for the X Division title.
You do that, yeah. Finish that story with Mustafa Ali that ended up being botched 6 times to sideways.
Everybody comes up short when you're dealing with Obafemi, by the way.
That's because he's so tall.
And others are not.
So it's going to take Babatunde to beat him, right?
And maybe.
Or Dabakato.
Or Baba Thunder.
Baba Thunder. I was going to say, what was his other name? It's weird when you have that and then you have Thunder Keck. Or
Commander Aziz.
WWE it's interesting, isn't it? Obafemi, though, definitely going to retain. If he doesn't, I'll be incredibly shocked. This is not the type of time frame, I think, for Obafemi to drop that title. And to somebody as, on the smaller side, like Wesley, because the only way I could see Obafemi dropping this belt is if they're bringing him up to the main roster already. And I don't think that that's going to happen.
I think that'd be a mistake. I think he can beat... I didn't say I think he can beat Trick, but I don't know if Trick's walking out of this as champion.
Well, let's get into that in a moment, but we're all going Obafemi. Yes. All, meaning 2 of us. Well, I'm assuming that other people are as well. Final match to talk about here. That's exactly how I say the word match. Final match to talk about here is a fatal 4-way for the NXT Championship. We've got Javon Evans, who had won a number 1 contenders battle royal, and then Ethan Page, who was not eliminated from that number 1 contenders battle royal. So he rightfully ended up getting another match against Javon Evans and beat him. So that makes perfect sense. But then Shawn Spears got involved in this too. And Spears had been feuding a little bit with Javon Evans. He ended up getting into this match to make it a 4-way. And it's interesting that they went in this direction because sometimes a fatal 4-way, a triple threat, a 5-way, a 6-man challenge, whatever it might be, just reads as quantity over quality. And I'll say that with this in mind. I like these guys. I think Javon Evans is a lot of fun. I think Ethan Page is way more interesting in NXT than he's been in the whole AEW and ROH side of things. And I like Shawn Spears. But it does read to me a little bit more like it's just, we don't really have like a true, like, that's the person we want to go feud with Trick Williams right now. So let's go with a bunch of people and the menagerie is going to be good enough. So I don't think that there's almost any chance that Trick loses the championship here.
I think there's a chance Ethan Page comes away with it. They're still trying to make it seem like he's a big deal. They just got him. Again, I know every day feels like 5 years, but he just came in maybe a month ago.
He was right before Battleground, like that week.
It was the week before. So let's see when this dude debuted. But yeah, I think that he really should win here.
Page, you mean?
Yeah, Ethan Page.
If you had to rank between the other two, Javon and Shawn Spears, as like a, I don't know, necessarily like second person to win the championship or so, but
I would say from 1 to 4, Page, Trick, Javon, Spears.
So I mean, I would put Spears above Javon, but that's not saying much because I do think that Trick is just going to retain, and I don't know who he'll end up pinning, because to me it sort of feels like if Javon takes the pin, then that's going to be a little bit too easy. If Spears or Page takes the pin, then they kind of rule them out for a future title situation. So
I think that's okay. Spears lost his first match to Ridge Holland.
It's true.
Like, you know,
it's not like he's been like super protected.
I think it'll be Spears or Javon takes the pin, and either Trick wins and he goes on to lose it to Femi, or by the way, it was May 28th, so a little over a month ago that Ethan Page arrived. So there's that. I think he should win.
Williams is in a spot right now where he is the guy in NXT, and I don't think he's going up to the main roster anytime soon. Not because he's not good, because it's totally not the case. I like Trick Williams a lot. But I think that they are banking on him being like the guy that holds the fort down in NXT. So if he loses the belt, I don't know what he does.
There's not a lot of depth to the roster, though, so I think shaking up these title pictures could be worthwhile. You know? Give the illusion of depth. By, oh my god, they keep trading the belt. I mean, I've been beating this drum all year on all the brands, on all the shows, on AEW. Trade the belts. Like, you don't need, everybody doesn't need to be champion for 6 months, and I think Trick's already held it for, how long's Trick held it for?
Not super long.
Well, again, every day feels like 5 years. Yeah, it's maybe been about 2-3 months. He could maybe lose it, get it back later.
Let's see. Trick Williams won this title on April 23rd. 71 days.
See, barely more than 2 months. So maybe he can hold it. I think it would be good for Page to get a win. We keep talking about, like, well, they're in Canada. That's a good excuse to get Page to win, right?
That's right. He is Canadian. Totally forgot about that.
So is Spears. That's why they're in the match.
Is Javon Evans? I don't think so.
Well, no, the match was Trick and Javon Evans, and then they said, we need Canadians.
Well, I'm going Trick Williams. I think we're going to be looking at a situation where even if somebody else, like other than Ethan Page, takes the pinfall here, it might not necessarily mean that any of these guys are completely done. I don't think we're going to get like a true like Page and Williams one-on-one again anymore, but that's another option too if they want to drag that out a little bit more. I'm at least happy that they went with throwing some heels in here instead of just Javon, because if it would have been another babyface situation like Kelani and Ruca, or the heel and heel thing with Perez and Lola Vice, or the babyface thing with the tag titles, I would have been like, okay, there's a mandate here of like, you just want to mess around and do some other stuff.
Shawn Michaels woke up and was like, I think we should put all our faces together.
And people are like, Shawn, you can't say that's a PR thing. An HR thing, not a PR. Maybe it's a PR thing too, I don't know. But that's another whole discussion for another day. I know that a lot of people have their things when it comes to Shawn in NXT. If it's not too obvious, I'm not super feeling this card. Like, it's got potential. The matches have opportunities to be good, but I just feel like it's slapdashed, and that's a fucking
Better
word to throw out there.
Better slapdash than slapjacked.
Or slap nuts, if that matters.
Jeff Jarrett could be a great NXT champion.
That's what's gonna happen. Jeff Jarrett's gonna walk out of this with the championship. What a Canadian that Jeff Jarrett is. He popped up on the he was on the pre-show for the last AEW pay-per-view that just went by. What's the name of it again? It was
Forbidden Door.
Forbidden Door, yeah. Okay. every day's a week. And when I had that on in the background, Caroline was like, "Who is this guy?" And I was like, "Who?" And she's like, "Oh, the guy on the left." And I was like, "Oh, that's JEFFJARRETT." And she just looked at me like, "What?" And I'm like, "It's Jeff Jarrett. He's a former wrestler."
He's not a former wrestler. He's still doing great.
Sure, yeah, he still is wrestling. So
he's wrestling tomorrow night, the Owen Hart tournament.
So if you were expecting Jeff Jarrett to be brought up on a NXT Heatwave thing, then hey, you're a prophet.
You are CORRECT, correct?
We should LIKE this video.
That's right. Give those 2 thumbs all the way up. And you know what else you should do? You should support everything under a mango tree, including Tony Mango on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. He's not going to post on there, but at Tony Mango everywhere. It's just like, that's how you're going to support Tony. And you might need to go there instead of here, because you never know when Smark moment might just be Kaputski.
When we might be counted out.
That's correct. That's correct. And then by any means, if we are counted out, you can keep up with me at Dude Felice, right? Dude Felice on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch.
Saying right, like people are gonna say, "Yep."
Yeah, like you gotta make sure I'm on the right track here. At Dude Felice on Instagram, Twitch, TikTok. I have posted on there every now and again. All the socials. Follow me on MovieWeb. You'll get an article or 2 a day, and hopefully that'll increase in the coming days and weeks. And you can check out Fightful.com. Check out True Heel Heat's Raw review for July 1st. That was fun. Check out ad-free shows. I've been doing a lot of stuff over there with Dominic D'Angelo on the Rumor and Innuendo podcast. Check out One True Sport, because I do some stuff over there. Check out the Magnum TA and Greg Gagne podcast. I'm not on camera there, but it's still a good time. Hanging out with 2 great wrestling legends. Check out everything else. Callum's not here, but Wigmeister 14. Check him out too. Yeah, this is a fun off-the-wall conversation.
I hope you enjoyed it, everybody. If you did, then keep us coming on here in the future for all the future things that we've got. If you didn't like it, then here's the door.
Keep us coming on here for all the future things we've got in the future.
I'm checked out. This is the most professional podcast that I've ever done. True. Motivation, it's a hell of a thing. And when it comes to all the other stuff under a mango tree, we're in a drought. Water it. Hit up those different websites and stuff.
Water your roots, guys. Water the tree. The tree's gonna. Wow, my New York came out there. Water the tree. It's gonna sprout wonderful seeds, and hopefully we'll all be able to eat from it.
Well, it's time for us to branch out. Or I guess we should leave. There you go. That's another one.
No problem.
Yeah, that's it for this, everybody. Of course, we'll come back around to this later on when it comes to the post show, most likely on Sunday, and another episode of the Hot Tags coming up in the meantime too. Maybe something else for the Darkcast or something. I don't know. I'm just trying to debate about what to do. I might record something on my own tomorrow, like a Darkcast for like call the spot for the Money in the Bank people. Maybe something where I kind of play around with the idea of it being the 4th of July and kind of booking like a American Pride versus Farm Fanatics thing or something, just to kind of mess around with some of those.
Red, white, and blue pants.
There is red, white, and blue pants. That's one of the best little stupid things that had happened in there. I don't know. I'm playing around with some of these ideas. It's very hard to be motivated with the way that things have been the past couple of months. So show your support. Keep me around. And I will see you next time with just my own thing, probably. If not, then one of these two guys, if not all three of us, will end up being back for the next episode. So adios for now. As we said, it's time for us to say goodbye for this, but we want you to leave your comments below and keep the things going. And adios for now. This has been another Smark Out moment, and we are being counted out.